survive it. Now with the laparoscopic, you're in and out quicker, fewer opportunities for infection, and really a lot less trauma on the body. And so what the medical instrument folks are really trying to do is allow physicians and other clinicians, I should say, whether it's PAs or respiratory or other technicians, to come in and be able to look at parts of your body to assess it for any disease, or being able to approach and contact those parts of the body in a minimally invasive manner and address whatever they find. And you think about, some of y'all are way too young for the colonoscopy. Prep is a lot more fun than the day there, because they certainly knock you out quick. But the key is that procedure has changed tremendously. And now they're getting to the point now where you can swallow a pill and you'll have a virtual colonoscopy. You still have to do the prep, but instead of going and all the other activities, once again, we endorse the healthcare industry. Many physicians are fine members of the chamber, but having said that, by swallowing a pill, we have a company here in Durham that they develop and manufacture the switch that turns on once you swallow it in the esophagus. But the great thing is, instead of just getting a picture here, now you get a picture all the way down through the system. So you can start to see how your esophagus looks, how the stomach looks, the large intestine, small intestine, and everything else. So having said that, but you do it in a least invasive manner, and probably something that's a lot more comfortable to the patient, because you're not actually having to inject them with any drugs. We all know from Michael Jackson is anytime you inject anybody with a drug, there's a equal and opposite reaction potentially, and this removes some of those opposite negative reactions. So anytime you can make something safer, it's better. And that's what we're seeing. Companies with more flexible instruments able to get to more parts of the body without you ever really seeing it.
A quick question, Ted. When you're doing development now, do you find that since you are receiving maybe more specific RFP, request for proposal information and things like that, do you think that the buyer is more advanced in the process and the decision making? It looks more like we're in the last group of selection sites, or
yes.
How do you feel?
In the old days, someone might collect RFPs from 320 MSAs in the country. Maybe they eliminate a few, maybe they get 260. Now, we're whittled down to usually the top 5 or 6. Then we'll get the RFP, then we'll get a visit. Sometimes we'll do the visit, then the RFP. But everybody still likes to put feet on the ground, eyeballs on the target, and see whether this really works for them. But when they're here, what they're looking for is very specific. And the key is for us to not step back. The key is for us to try to best understand what they're looking for, provide them specific product meeting that specific need. In the old day, if they wanted a building, we might throw 60 buildings up. Now I got to really fine tune that building. And now we've started going out in some projects of taking a tour and doing a video and providing them a video tour, or almost a virtual tour of the building with the agents. So we want to provide them far more information up front. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What's the nature of its fit up? What does it look like outside? Where's the transit station? Where's your parking? Things like that. For a lot of people, they want to know, is it an open floor plan? I mean, we provide them a lot more information than we used to, and we have to. But the key is for us to get enough information from the client or from our information conduit to be able to make an educated presentation. Sometimes we just get a bunch of schlop, and it's by people not understanding where we are in the technological process of information. They just say, oh, they want 40 to 80,000 square feet. Well, you want 40, you want 50, you want 80. What is it you want? You just can't double the size of it. And then the client comes into town, they really want 62,000 square feet. And so, okay, why? You have to ask why. What do you need? There's a little bit more questioning involved. Although some of my clients have accused me of asking too many questions, but I really want to make sure that what I'm providing meets their needs. I'm not as much, in the old days we were more of a salesperson. Today we're more of a technician, because there's enough information out there for them to understand right off the bat whether this works for them. And that's what happens in a lot of products, is people are selling us stuff, but they're not taking the time to figure out, does this really meet my need? We were meeting with our internet provider yesterday, and it's a matter of they provide us a service, but I'm saying, what else do we need to become more efficient to really supplement what you're selling me? I'll pay for it if you can tell me how it's going to improve my business. I'll buy it. And she's going, whoa, I'm not used to this. Well, that's what we all need to do is, if you're designing something, say, I'll come in and inspect it. I'll do a virtual audit of your current space. We all need to become much more of a partner with our client. A lot of R&D now is being done by companies that are working with their partners, but they're doing it not because they're really curious, just because the more work they do with their client, the better they get to understand the client's needs and become more of an accepted partner. So when the bid comes out, they have a better chance of winning that bid because they know more about the product, they know more about the client. Hopefully they've established a positive relationship.
So I think that it is very much relationship-based, and I think most people, no matter what industry that we're in, it's more consultative instead of transactional. If you do transactional, you certainly have to be considering that.
But in the end, there has to be a transaction. Got to be a transaction. With some businesses, you need more transactions than others. Don just needs a couple transactions a year to make a living. You need a lot of transactions to make a living. Retail is different, but yeah, got to close. But the key is, is that follow-up, is taking that list and sending folks and say, what else can I do for you? If I don't, if they say, I got this other problem, we'll say, well, I don't fix that, but here I can connect you with someone who does. It's about that relationship. Education, relationship, boy, I'm really into this stuff this morning, all right? A lot of people like to think that I'm just full of it. Literally and
Well, as
figuratively.
long as it's the right stuff.
That's right. Well, the market's out on that.
I think it's what you presented today is good information, but as far as in each one of our fields, we need specifics and we don't get. We have to look at it ourselves.
What specifics do you need?
Well,
Yeah.
but that means different. This means different things for different businesses. This is what it's going to take. What's the margin involved? But it's sort of
If there are specific questions or come here if they can't live here and it's just a funny world. It's a very, everybody provides a good or service that's really needed in our overall quality of life. We aren't going to attract the companies because they go out. This is a great area, but boy, if you want to get your car fixed here, this is not it. And everybody goes, that's interesting. Is that going to affect me down the road in other areas? So we all have an obligation to make sure that our total life is as best as we can make it.
yeah, that and also the fact that even in our industry, the stuff has changes, and the expectations are.